It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Friday, January 16th. We've made it to a Friday. I am so grateful to hit the Friday on the week because, as you guys know, I've had a sick kid all week. It's been one of those. And for some reason, I feel like now that it's Friday, the sickness will be over. But who knows? He's still sleeping. Welcome to the show. We've got a lot to talk about today. You guys, some shady Hollywood news about Timothy Busfield that really made me feel very weird about it yesterday when I read it, because it just goes to show how much Hollywood protects its people. Plus, we're going to talk about Blake Lively, a new Blake Lively update, because she hired a new attorney. And luckily, we have a birthday girl in the comments. It's Laura's birthday, our moderator of the moderator that never stops moderating. So everyone make sure in the chat or in your live feed to say, or if you're watching the replay, to say happy birthday to Laura. I'm so excited that it is her birthday, and hopefully we can have fun talking badly about Blake. If you are new here, make sure to hit subscribe and like the feed. If you're on X watching, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I am everywhere. So make sure to give it love, follow, give it a 5-star, whatever it is, wherever you are. That's what I would love from you guys as a treat, as a Friday treat. And everyone get ready, because it's your daily dose of, what if I just changed my name? But it's not anything else. It's just your daily dose of Donna. All righty. Welcome to the show, everyone. Oh my gosh. I had a fun morning. I was FaceTiming with Zach. He's in Orlando, and we were talking about his episode that is airing right now. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about like the details of the deposition and everything around Justin Baldoni's newly released full deposition, we've seen parts of it, but we just got the full. Zach and I really go into that. Before I get into the Blake Lively story of everything, I want you guys to watch just a clip of it about Jenny Slate. The reason why I couldn't remember her name is because she is that forgettable in my brain. Jenny Slate from the movie is truly one of the most insufferable actors I've ever heard of. And there can't be anyone, and I'm really curious. I'm going to talk to some of my industry people about this, because I'm really curious to know if there are actual actors who work in this industry who look at what Jenny Slate is complaining about and feel like, yeah, she has a right to complain about that. Or, yeah, this is a total legitimate complaint on the set of a film. It's 5 complaints that she spoke about to a Sony executive. And here is the clip from Zach's show that airs today here on YouTube or on audio. Here's a clip of us talking about these 5 issues that she had.
Slate, because she is slated and she is ready. She first made her complaints in May of 2023, which was pretty early on in the film.
Yeah, because it was right when they were kind of like getting settled and everything.
Yep. And so I guess she sat down with Angie Giannetti, and they went to lunch. And this is where she aired all 5 of her grievances. Are you ready for them?
Let's go.
Number 1 is she was bothered that Baldoni recorded a rehearsal of he, her, and Blake Lively. It was on Zoom. I believe she was
the horror
with him in Jersey, and Blake was in New York.
When you're on Zoom and you record,
it says you're recording.
It's like a known thing for the group.
Also, like, it's a rehearsal. It's a table read. It's whatever it is. The fact that it was recorded.
It's not like it was phone sex or something insane that, like, you know, he should have absolutely never screen recorded or recorded. This was a movie-based rehearsal, and he is the director. This is so not a thing to be upset about.
Like, I don't think that's a huge shocker to anybody. It's not like a secret recording of something that you don't know.
It is Unreal.
The second is in regards to the sexy comment that he made when she was wearing the black leather pants, which we'll get to in a sec. The third was the fact that she saw him outside interacting with fans, and she was bothered by that because she then felt like there was going to be an expectation for her to go out and interact with fans, and she didn't want to go out and interact with fans. So he better not even think about asking her to go out and interact with fans. If he thinks that that's what she's going to be doing, she's not going to be doing that. He can do that, which is already annoying, but she's not going to do that. She's a private person, Donna.
I literally cannot. Honestly, this one is the most shock. I think they're all shocking, but this one is insane. It's actually insane. Think about how many times we watched clips of Sex and the City filming around New York City, like the TV show, the And Just Like That, or the films, right? Because the paparazzi was hardcore. Or Devil Meets Prada, the second Devil Meets Prada. I'm just thinking of examples of when you see people shooting out in the wild. Okay, you have someone that is in your small town, because they're not shooting in the middle of Manhattan or in the middle of, Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard. They're shooting in a small town called, you guys remind me what it's called, the small little New Jersey town that they were in. I can't remember the name of it, but I know that I follow someone who is on TikTok, and she lives in it's like a sweet little town, and not little, but it's just like a normal town that you probably don't get people shooting in your home all the time, in your hometown all the time. So this was a big deal for whatever town this was. It was on the main street, and It Ends With Us, lucky for them, had a cult following already because of it being so popular on Book Talk. And because of that, so many people were excited. Plus, if you guys don't remember this, Justin Baldoni had a major, major fan following already because he was on Jane the Virgin. He had, yes, Hoboken. Thank you so much, Ruby. I was like, who? How come no one has the name? Hoboken. Yes. Now everyone's coming up with a name. But it was on the streets. Justin Baldoni is this hot actor that all these girls already had crushes on because they've been watching him on Jane the Virgin. He's also had a podcast. He's also been on TV, and he has been, whatever, has a book. Then you have Blake Lively, who is to all these people still likable. Remember when people liked her, right? And so people were very, very excited about seeing these big stars in their Hoboken, New Jersey town. God forbid that Justin Baldoni takes time from his busy schedule. Remember, he's the director and the lead actor. Takes time from his busy schedule to go talk to the people, to the peasants, to the normies. That was her complaint. It's mind-blowing, actually, if you think about it. It's mind-blowing because if you actually want to be good with your fans and you want your fans to support you in seeing this movie, and they know that people talk on TikTok and social media and everyone can share a million things in 2 seconds, and that to me is so important, to not give your fans a bad impression of you because you want them to support you and see the movie. He's so smart. That bothered her. Let's continue.
Can you imagine?
I mean, it's so outrageous. I can't stand that he socializes with our future viewers of this film.
Her fourth was that the set was too huggy. And that's the specific word that she used. It was too huggy. Like people, she doesn't like hugs, and she didn't like people were hugging. And so she was bothered by that.
That's a you issue. Okay. Not liking hugging is fine. You don't have to be a hugging person. If you guys are here and you don't like to hug, I don't judge you. Everyone has their thing. I personally feel like I hug. I'm a hugger, but I don't go out of my way to hug people. But on movie sets, I mean, I've worked in so many times on production and in production and movie sets and TV shows and stuff that it's a very natural greeting. What's not natural is hello, shaking hands, or hi, hello, but just say, I don't like to hug. That doesn't matter if you don't like to hug, do you, boo? But don't put it on other people. Don't make someone else feel bad for being happy to hug.
Insufferable. And then her fifth grievance was about Jamie Heath offering to pay for her apartment change because she didn't like the apartment that she was staying in while they were filming because it had something to do with her kid. And he offered to find her a new place and covered the $15,000 deposit that she was at risk of losing. And he wanted to do that to honor the sanctity of motherhood. So those were the 5.
Which I still to this day do not understand. To this day, I have no idea why that's a bad thing. Like, I'm trying really, I consider myself somewhat of an intelligent person. I don't get why that's bad. How in the world can that be interpreted as being a negative thing? That your producer on a film wants to offer more money to put you in a happy and healthy situation and scenario for you and your kids because you're a mother. What? Isn't this like reverse? It's like, is it like a feminism thing? Like, don't treat me different because I'm a mom. But if he did treat her the same as everyone else, because she'd be like, why aren't you treating me separate, like better because I'm a mom? She's just going to be unhappy with anything that Justin did or Jamie.
5 grievances that she brought to Angie, and then Angie brought them to Baldoni.
What could possibly be wrong with that?
So Baldoni says, I had commented on her wardrobe and used the word sexy. Then Miss Giannetti asked if she felt it was if it was sexual and if I was hitting on her. And Jenny Slate said, no, it wasn't sexual. She just didn't appreciate it. I don't understand. We've heard about all these other women that had these allegations. We've now confirmed that they were Isabella and Jenny Slate. And yet now that we have all the details of their alleged allegations, like none of it it just continues to be a big nothing burger.
So I agree 1000% with Zach on that one. It feels like, okay, we were waiting for these big reports coming out from other women on the set. And here we have them. We have all the issues. And when I see her issues, I think to myself, her issues is another actor's like dream. I'm not joking by that. Jenny Slate's issues with Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath is another actor's perfect set, right? Hugging, friendly, talking to the fans, great interaction, great for engagement. Maybe you'll get some new fans and social media followers, and people will post pictures of you. You get a better apartment. Your director thinks you look good in your costume. Your director takes the job seriously and records the table reads so that he can go back and make sure that you're giving your best performance. What the actual F is this? We're in the upside down. Now, the other person that complained was Isabella Ferrer. And in her case, she complained by saying that Justin Baldoni said that her sex scene with Atlas, young Atlas, so she was young Lily, was sexy. Well, if you think about that, I can understand. Oh, no, it was hot. Sorry, I'm getting that mixed up. It was hot. This is according to Isabella. She said that after she did the sex scene with Atlas, Justin Baldoni said it was hot. Now, they asked Justin, did you say it was hot? And he goes, I can't remember saying that. It's possible I did, but I didn't. Like, I don't remember saying that. But just say he did, right? Just say he did say, hey, that was hot. Right after 2 actors of age, okay, yes, they're playing 16, 17, whatever, but they were 23, 24. I think, I can't remember how old he is, the young Atlas, but these are consenting adults, okay? Full-on consenting adults. After they had a sex scene where there was supposed to be a lot of chemistry, where we were supposed to feel through the screen that they liked each other, that they really cared about each other, that they were really into each other. Can you imagine at the end of that scene if the director just said, it was fine. Good. Good job. Thanks. It's a wrap. You'd be like, shit, I don't think that was good. I don't think my director likes me. Oh no, I'm not sexy. Oh no, I don't look good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I didn't kiss well enough. People aren't going to believe that Atlas and I are into each other. Will he want to recast me? Like, your brain as an actor needs validation, because I've worked with enough actors to know that actors need crazy validation. No offense to you actors that are listening and watching, but it's true. Actors are really, really interested in hearing that they did a good job after they do their scene. If you look to your director or your producers, whoever, and you assume that they will tell you right now after the end of your scene, that was great. No notes. Phenomenal. Great job. 10 out of 10. I have no feedback for you. That to me is 1000% the right move as a director and actor. I mean, a director to a young actor, because they are desperate to know, oh no, did I do a good job? So if he said, wow, phenomenal job, or that was so hot, or whatever, this to me is an actor's like, thank you. Damn, good. It's my first time ever being in a movie. This is my first time ever doing a sex scene. Like, and my director thought it was hot. Like, that's perfect. That doesn't mean that he pulled her aside into a room and said, show me what you just did. Yeah. And then cracked open a beer and like started smoking a cigar and put his legs up on the table and was like, that's so hot. Context matters. Context matters. And I was saying to Zach's show, he brought up Heated Rivalry, which is, of course, such a sex-filled show and like real sex, right? Like hardcore sex. And I said, I guarantee that a couple people throughout the production said to Connor from the Video Village, Connor Story or Hudson Williams, the two leads, damn, that was hot. I guarantee it. And if they didn't, if they were like, it was okay. It was good. Good job. Connor and Hudson would be like, well, let's do it again. I want it to be hot. We're having sex. They're not like, putting on makeup. They're having sex. Sex should be in a movie, as long as it's consensual sex between two people, it should be hot. I mean, as far as I know, the way I'm raised is that sex should be sexy and hot. That's how I feel. So it very much frustrates me to hear that these are the complaints by these two ladies, these two immature ladies who are desperate to find something wrong. They had the ick. They looked 1000% for anything. They looked in the crevices of their history within this movie. They looked in every little corner of the, their experience to pull something. They were looking for the needle in the haystack of something that made them feel uncomfortable to strengthen Blake Lively's case. Still gives nothing. It still gives absolutely nothing for the case. Now, Blake Lively must be feeling the pressure. And I believe that she is feeling the pressure because she just brought on a new attorney. And she's not effing around with this new attorney. Okay. She's not looking for some just random trial attorney here and there. No. She brought in the big guns. Blake Lively hired a huge defense attorney, not a defense attorney, but she has represented victims of Jeffrey Epstein as a trial lawyer. Okay. Blake Lively hires Jeffrey Epstein's victims lawyer ahead of the trial. This is, in my opinion, you can look at this as two ways, okay? You can look at this as, I'll tell you more about who she is and everything, but you can look at this in two ways. Number one, you can say, oh shit, Blake Lively is bringing on the big guns. Like, this is a woman that really fights for the victims. And, she's obviously a very high-powered attorney, et cetera, et cetera. Or you can look at it like she's saying, holy shit, I gotta get the best there is. I gotta get the best there is. And the third way to look at it is PR. I am a victim, says Blake Lively. I am a victim, just like Virginia Dufresne. Just like all of those young women that got completely trafficked and abused by Jeffrey Epstein and his friends. I am the same. We are all the same because I stand with women, but only the right women. I only stand with the women that are on my side. But I stand with women, and I am a victim. And I have to bring on the victim's attorney. But I see this as a desperate move, big time. Now, if you go more into the article, you find out that she actually has hired someone named Sigrid McCauley, very high profile attorney. She's worked with the Epstein victims for almost 10 years, I believe. And she says her message about this is that this case is at its core about a woman who was subjected to a hostile work environment and is being attacked for standing up to protect herself. I'm sorry, what? Okay. Now, she will be handling communications with the public and the media on key matters related to the case, which is interesting that they brought someone on who is going to be talking to the public and media when in reality, they were very upset about Brian Friedman doing that, right? Talking to the public and the media. But I guess now we really got to spin our story straight. She says, it's a privilege to get to work with Blake Lively's world-class legal team on a case that is at its core about a woman who was subjected to a hostile work environment and being attacked. She says, and then Gottlieb and Hudson, who we know well now, are her current attorneys, and she will continue to be seen by them. I mean, she has 475 attorneys on her team, I think. She says, they say, Gottlieb and Hudson, we are thrilled that Sigrid has joined Blake's legal team in this important role handling our public-facing communications. We recruited Sigrid based on her many years of work speaking truth to power, including her courageous representation of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, and have no doubt her experience will serve the team well. She's also represented Leslie Sloan. Okay, so this is not her first time in the moment. I think that most likely this is a PR move just to connect herself to the movement of women victims who it's scary and sad that Blake Lively is trying to get herself on the same level as those women who are victims of Jeffrey Epstein and the like. And it's just the ego on this person that you think I am in that category and I should be treated as such is unreal. It's unreal. It's such a victim mentality just in general. Like, poor me. Poor me, she's trying to still say. Look at me, more, oh my gosh. How awful could this have been for me? Yes, I ruined someone's life in the meantime. Yes, I completely threw a company's reputation under the bus. Yes, I ruined an author's life too with this public dust up. Yes, I turned all these other actors against. Yes, I've ruined everyone else's life on this film, but poor me. Poor me, he talked about circumcision. He mentioned that he used to be addicted to porn. Poor me. With these people. You guys are saying you're cold watching me in my tank top. Well, I hate to break it to you guys. Don't want to be rude, but it's currently 75 degrees outside and warmer probably in Sherman Oaks, California. So I'm sweaty. It's we're getting closer to this end, you guys. We're getting closer to the end of the trial, and to the trial, I should say. We have about 4 months left. I need it to be yesterday. I'm so over it for all of them, but I'm still waiting with bated breath to see any new text messages that get released, any new information, because remember, we have yet to see one thing that Blake has said with any one of her people. We have yet to see one form of evidence that she was experiencing this sexual harassment during the set of the movie in her communications with her husband, with her best friends, with her producers, with her publicist. Nothing. We see nothing. The only time we've seen Blake's texts or Blake's information is when she was sexting with Justin Baldoni. That's honestly what it feels like. It feels like that. Molly, she knows. Molly and I have talked about this about other people, not just Blake. We have so many people in our lives that we've talked about this about. Dear Lord, she says, may I never, ever find myself in the company of this level of the victim personality trait. Amen. 100%. There is no one worse. She walks around like, It happened to me. She's been quiet on her Instagram. I'm actually really surprised that she's been quiet on her Instagram because she's normally crashing out when things like this come out. She's been quiet. But this woman is her goal. And if you Google Sigrid Macaulay, a ton of interviews have come up. She's constantly, I mean, I just want you guys to get a visual of who Sigrid is. This woman is hot. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. I'm doing what Justin Baldoni did. Hey, can't say that. Can't say that. I mean, she's a good looking woman. She's a power woman. She is front facing. She wants to be on camera. She wants to talk to the media. This is exactly the goal and why they did this. For example, here is an interview. Oh, there's probably going to be an ad. Here's, I was watching an interview earlier with her talking to News Nation about the Epstein victims. I mean, she's the attorney that goes on camera. It's weird that they're doing exactly what they didn't want Brian Friedman to do. I find that odd. I need to correct myself. Everyone, on today's episode of Correct Yourself with Donna Bowling, shouldn't that be my new podcast name? Correct Yourself. If you guys are interested in hearing more about Blake Lively and that deposition, I can talk about it more another day. I just find it to be redundant at this point. It's so hard to listen to that deposition when you see it, how they asked questions of Justin Baldoni for 18 or 14 hours over 2 days. It's crazy. And they ask him questions that have zero relevance to this case. Zero. They're asking him questions about things he did when he was writing the book years ago, things he said, 5 years before, things he was, his addiction to porn when he was 10, 11, which he has documented openly. It's crazy. There's absolutely no information. But meanwhile, look how happy Leslie Sloan is right now, because this is the front cover of page 6. Legal upgrade. I still can't get over this outfit of Blake Lively's. If you actually think about it, that outfit of Blake Lively's when she has no shirt on and she just has the suit, do you think anyone said, wow, Blake, you look hot? I feel like when you wear a shirt without a shirt, like a suit without a shirt under, I feel like your goal is to look hot, right? So let's move on to another story because, we can talk about it throughout the next 5 months, but I'm so over it. This next story I have for you guys is quite uncomfortable to hear about. The reason why is because this Timothy Busfield story is, sorry, I'm just trying to pull up the article. I have to multitask here. The Timothy Busfield story is very, very, it's unsettling. And the more I hear about it, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm reading about it, the more I'm seeing about it. It's absolutely not, it doesn't make me feel better for him. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, everything he did was wrong here. Everything he did. And the truth is, I was talking to Lance about it yesterday. I think it was last night. I was telling Lance all about it because he doesn't, follow like pop culture stuff. So he doesn't know a lot about it. He actually didn't even know who Timothy Busfield was until he looked at pictures. And then he's like, oh, Timothy Busfield. But I was telling him all about it. And he goes, listen, you could also say it's like a he said, she said, and you don't know like what happened. And I said, the only thing that makes me a little bit concerned here is that it does feel the fact that he admitted he tickled. When you hear that a man admits the tickle, that is where you say, oh, I'm going to say that I did this so that it removes the big stress over like, did you ever touch these boys? Yeah, but I just tickled them. It was like so casual. It was just a friendly tickle. And to me, it feels like it's his way of kind of like calming it, like I would say justifying if there was ever actual like touching. So this article, I'm like, did they? You guys, it's so wild. I like can't find the article. that I was fully reading last night in shock. And I wonder if there's no way that they did this. There's no way that they removed the article. I'm going to find it really fast, and it's about Warner Brothers. So, okay, got it. This is not the article. I can't find it on Daily Mail where I had it before, but maybe they removed it. Maybe they got a legal threat or something. So basically what happened yesterday, and I'm going to go off of my memory of reading the article first, is that in this affidavit, in this arrest warrant, and all these documents that are coming out, there's so much more information about the investigation that had been going on for a long time. There was an investigation that was going on for, found it. Thank God. God, that was so annoying. It's like hidden. This article is hidden. So there was an investigation that's been going on for a long time with Warner Brothers involved. Now, the reason why Warner Brothers is involved is because this happened on the set of a show called The Cleaning Lady. I think it's called The Cleaning Lady, and that is a Warner Brothers show. So whenever you have a complaint about something on a set, you go to the studio, you go to the network, or the police do, right? They go to the production company, they go to the bosses. They don't go to the person right off the bat. So they're going to want to go and start to deliver or capture evidence, do an investigation, open an investigation. Okay. That's what happens. So when police are involved, CPS, any of these things, like they're going to have to open an investigation with the founding studio, the production company. And so this is what happened when this investigation started, which was back in November of 2024. But here's why this is shady. Because the police department of Albuquerque, which is the company, the city that is handling this investigation, and they're handling it very seriously, if you guys can see that they did not let him out on bail, are admitting and saying that Warner Brothers stalled and stonewalled the criminal investigation into these sex claims. Okay. Now, I want you guys to understand what a big deal this is. That a whole police department is saying that a studio as big as Warner Brothers was blocking us from investigating and getting information on this case to protect their star. He says, this police department guy says, they treated us like we were Mayberry. I didn't know what that meant, but it's an Andy Griffith show reference. And what they're saying is that on Andy Griffith, it took place in a very small town, Mayberry. So Albuquerque Police Department is saying that Warner Brothers did not give us respect of a police department. The lead cop on the case wrote in an affidavit that Warner Brothers made it very difficult to obtain information on this case. They said that the studio waited, and this is shady, you guys. The studio waited 3 months to comply with a court order to produce an independent investigation. 3 months. That's bad. The fact that a police department is saying straight up that Warner Brothers did not take them seriously for child sex abuse and did not want to cooperate with them. Why? Why is the studio doing that? It says Albuquerque police officer Marvin Brown said that Warner Brothers used attorney Richard Wessling, that was their attorney, to advise me that I would need to go through his law firm to talk with any employees of Warner Brothers when I was trying to ensure the safety of child actors. So this police officer is saying all I cared about was making sure kids are safe. And they were like, you have to go through us, the lawyers. You can't do your investigation. Just go through us. Then it continued, and this is even worse. When talking with employees of Warner Brothers, they said they were very afraid of retaliation from their employer if they talked to me. One production assistant on the show, so there was a PA that they interviewed from the show The Cleaning Lady to get more information, told the Daily Mail that she has already been turned down for 2 potential gigs with Warner Brothers since she spoke to the police. So Warner Brothers is mad at anyone that would speak about child sex abuse on a set. It's Shocking. She says she hesitated to come forward because she feared it would hurt her work status with Warner Brothers and hinder her show business career altogether. There was a strong vibe from the business office that they didn't want us airing dirty laundry, she said. Now, prosecutors are calling out the studio on Wednesday, 2 days ago, for failing to speak with key witnesses and for creating a working environment in which crew members hesitated to speak openly about Busfield's behavior. Witnesses in the investigation expressed fear of retaliation and career harm for reporting the defendant's conduct, further underscoring his ability to intimidate and silence others. The delayed and limited cooperation by Warner Brothers in responding to a search warrant further underscores the institutional barriers that have historically enabled this type of misconduct to continue, says the DA's motion. And Warner Brothers is coming back and saying, our top priority is the health and safety of our cast and crew across all productions. The studio takes any and all allegations of misconduct very seriously, is what Warner Brothers says. They also say in response to law enforcement requests, the studio cooperated by expediting its processes to share the report of its third-party investigation, even though that report could have been withheld as privileged. Now, meanwhile, experts on sexual abuse find criticism of the studio unsurprising. Like, this is not shocking to people that are dealing with this, experts dealing with this, because they say Hollywood has a longstanding effort to protect people in power. Although progress has been made since Harvey Weinstein, they're saying. But big studios like Warner Brothers still have far to go. Children are often the most vulnerable people on a television or a film set, said a statement from the Hollywood Commission, which is a nonprofit that tackles what it calls the culture of abuse and power imbalance in the entertainment industry. It says, although the group wouldn't comment specifically about the Busfield case, it said it advocates for clear, enforceable codes of conduct and consistent training, particularly in work involving minors. And unfortunately, Warner Brothers did not seem like they were very interested in being part of this investigation, whether they thought it was going to go away, whether they had deals with some people that were involved in this movie. But it's pretty disappointing. I would say it's pretty disappointing. And in addition to the affidavit, in addition to talking about Warner Brothers, they talked about the actual abuse that happened on the set. And when Busfield was interviewed, he likely acknowledged, like I said, having played with and tickled the brothers, but said they were never alone with him on set without a teacher or a parent. But others on set contradicted his account, saying the teacher responsible for overseeing the twins often lost track of them. How are you losing track of your job? According to Brown's affidavit, one hair and makeup artist told an investigator everyone knew to avoid Timothy because he was creepy. So some people did speak up. Like I said, they told police he told police that he thinks this is retaliation because the sons were replaced by a younger actor. And Warner Brothers, this investigation first came in via the SAG-AFTRA hotline in February 2025. So this investigation has been going for a long time. The police investigation, according to court documents and a statement from the independent investigator, the studio's probe found no evidence that Busfield engaged in inappropriate conduct or was ever alone with the boys on the set. The police investigation, though, which included interviews with the twins' doctors, therapists, and women who have accused Busfield of sexual misconduct in the past, did lead to charges, despite the studio's inconclusive findings. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's interesting that Warner Brothers did everything in their power to protect. And this is not the first time this has happened with Warner Brothers. They've done this in the past. So that's that story about Timothy Busfield. And we still haven't heard about an update on when his next hearing will be, but I'll let you guys know when that comes up, and we'll continue to talk about the story because I find it sad, fascinating, gross, and interesting how fast people, especially in Hollywood, are to dismiss him. Dismiss it. Like no one's No one in Hollywood is talking about it because he's one of their own. And that to me, I find very fascinating. Because if this was a politician, trust me, or especially a conservative politician, how many people would talk about it? How many people would scream out like disgusting, disgusting? But because he is one of their own, we don't know. We don't know what's happening. What? Innocent. What? I have a bad feeling about it, you guys. A bad, bad feeling. Meanwhile, let's move on to her next story. We have a few more stories. But before, yes, exactly, Enrique, that's exactly what I was going to go on to. But before I do, I want to remind you guys that this week's episodes are brought to you by Hers Weight Loss. Reaching your weight loss goals do not have to mean to completely changing the way you live your life. What if you can make healthy progress with a treatment plan that included medication, access to 24/7 support, nutrition tips, and tools for tracking movement, hydration, and sleep, all personalized to go at your pace? That's Weight Loss by Hers. Through Hers, you're connected with a medical provider who determines if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment plan is personalized to support you in reaching your goals. Plus, you can access a range of treatment options like oral medication kits or GLP-1 injectables. They even offer the convenience of 100% online care with licensed providers on the other side who learn your story and create a personalized plan to deliver healthy progress you can maintain. So no more yo-yoing, just steady results. So feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/daily dose to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/daily dose, forhers.com/daily dose. Weight Loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated by safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. Okay. So another story we have to talk about is I have like a bunch of different stories. I'm going to get to the Ashley Tisdale in just a second. But guys, guess who's writing a memoir? Guess who is writing a memoir? Talent agent extraordinaire, Ari Emanuel. Remember Ari Emanuel, guys? Do you remember who he is? Ari Emanuel, the famed agent from this case, but super agent, WME, Ari Emanuel is selling his memoir with Prince Harry's ghostwriter. So Meghan's jealous somewhere. Now, Page Six, I guess, had reported in December that he was shopping a memoir that he's writing with that ghostwriter. But now we're told that he's actually sold it. So this is a crazy picture. I don't know why it looks like that, but there's a better picture of Ari. His clients have included, it's interesting that they're not mentioned here, Mark Wahlberg, Larry David, Martin Scorsese, Conan O'Brien, and Charlize Theron. And if you guys remember, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Remember that? Now, Ari Emanuel comes from a very famed family. He has he has two brothers. His older brother is Rahm Emanuel from the mayor of Chicago, the old mayor of Chicago. And his other brother is Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel, who also just dropped a bestseller called Eat Your Ice Cream, 6 Simple Rules for a Long and Healthy Life. This family is incredibly, incredibly famous, successful. They do very well. A friend of mine I can't say it actually, but works with him and has been to his house many times, and he's very, very successful. I will be interested to read the memoir because I'm always interested in reading like talent agents and producers and things like that. I'm very interested in reading it, but he really showed his true colors through this It Ends With Us lawsuit, and I feel like that to me is it just goes to show how gross it is, how gross Hollywood is, and how much you can be bought and how much you can be sold, and like not into it. But I'm actually interested if he talks about this at all, like when he, got famous for just being blackmailed or threatened or extorted to fire one of his clients to keep another one. That's an interesting story. You guys, an Ellen Greenberg update. If you don't remember Ellen Greenberg, you got to. Ellen Greenberg was that true crime case. We talked about her documentary. She was the woman who was killed, I'm convinced, by knife in her kitchen in Philadelphia, if you guys remember the story. And her fiance at the time, Sam Goldberg, got away with it because probably of corruption by calling it a suicide. And this was a knife stabbing where her head was and her chest were stabbed in all kinds of crazy places. Almost impossible to imagine this ever being a self-inflicted injury or anything like this. And what's frustrating is we all watched the documentary, which I wish I could remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was a phenomenal documentary that opened me up to learn all about this. So make sure to try to look for it, and maybe someone here in the comments will remember it. But right now, we have more information because the feds are finally reopening the probe into her quote unquote suicide. And the reason why they call it quote unquote suicide is because this was not a suicide. And I hold strong on that. I hold so strong on that, like I hold that Karen Reed did not hit John O'Keefe with her car, that Justin Baldoni did not, sexually harass Blake Lively. Like these are my opinions, but this is how I feel. And I'm sorry if I am ever found dead in my kitchen by knife wounds all over my upper back and neck and my chest, and then a final one to my heart. Like, guys, this is me saying right now, I didn't do it. Okay. Thank you. It was called Death in Apartment 603. I can't remember if it was Hulu or Netflix, but you look this up. Phenomenal documentary and so sad. And the way I fell in love with Ellen's mom and dad. Now, Sam Goldberg, funnily, it's not a word, but let's use it today. It's Fun Friday. So Sam Goldberg, who was her fiance at the time, is now 43, and he's living his life because he got to. She didn't, but he got to. And he continued to live his life, and he went on to work for Live Golf, which is where he works. And he also is a married husband and father to, I believe, 2 kids. He's married to a very successful Jewish family. And he also comes from a very successful Jewish family, and they're friends with celebrities. And the reason why I know this is because he's right there in the front row at Adam Pally's stand-up special that just shot for Netflix, I believe, in the last 5 months or so. I can't remember. And he's in the front row. Okay. He's buddies with people like Adam Pally. So he's gone on to live his blessed and fun and great and cool life. But in reality, no one has been able to pin him down with a crime, but it all but makes sense that this man was the reason for it. Now, this is, again, alleged, my opinion, all the things, but this is how I feel. Now, he was spotted. He keeps getting spotted randomly in New York City, but this is what he looks like now, okay? He don't look good. He looks like shit. Okay? That's how I feel. If I wake up and I feel like crappy, I'm going to be like, "Oh, I feel like I look like Sam Goldberg." He looks like crap, okay? But that's, I guess, he could be under that jacket, he could be holding like 20 years of guilt. Guilt can make you do some crazy things. Now, I honestly can't believe that this guy's just walking around like nothing bothers him whatsoever. Because if you guys remember, and I think there's a picture in this article of the way her head, yep, there you go. Let's look at that. These are the wounds that were found on this woman, on this adorably pretty 27-year-old school teacher who was struggling in her relationship with her fiance, who was talking to her parents about saying she wanted to move home. Okay? Yeah, when I think suicide, I look at that picture and I'm like, yeah, duh. Look at the one on the head too. It's unbelievable that this was evaluated as a suicide. This is a picture of Ellen and Sam back then. I mean, he really has aged badly. I don't feel bad saying that. I don't feel bad saying this. Now, the good news is that Sandy Greenberg, that's Ellen Greenberg's adorable mom, told the Daily Mail in an exclusive interview that she's excited that the case is going to be revisited in a new investigation. She says it's very good news in that it takes things out of the state of Philadelphia, which we cannot trust, and places it in the hands of the federal government. So now it's going to the feds. It's going to the big dogs. There's so much corruption, but there's been so much corruption, they need fresh eyes on it. It's been a very long time coming. January 26th will be 15 years, but we're gaining momentum, and Ellen knows. This whole case that totally screams cover up received renewed attention late last year, probably because of the documentary and more, as officials again ruled that Greenberg's death was a suicide when it was reevaluated by the city of Philadelphia, which was such a bummer. Remember, we were like, oh, there's a chance that they're going to see it and call it what it is, which is a homicide. No, they called it a suicide again. It says prosecutors will not be focusing on the manner of Greenberg's death with the new investigation, but are instead centering questions on how a variety of agencies handled the case. So now they have footage of this guy who's just walking around. Of course, he's refusing to answer any questions on whether he was pleased to see prosecutors probe the investigation into his former fiance's death. Of course, he's not pleased. Of course, he's not pleased. He's freaking the F out. Now, according to this Philadelphia magazine, the new probe is not expected to reevaluate that her death was a suicide, but it will talk about the investigators, which I think is important because it's one thing at a time. If you can find out that the investigators who have been investigating this were corrupt or shady in any way, it opens the next step up to now we can go and look into more. The Greenberg's parents have long sought answers over her death. She says, we are so excited and so are our attorneys. We don't have a lot of details yet, but it's official that feds are investigating and that will hopefully uncover new truth. And I really pray for that family because if there is fraud happening there, if there is something shady, this family, plus so many more families, they need to find peace. They need to find justice. And the man that I believe had something to do with her death is walking free. And it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting what a lot of money and a lot of, having a relationship with the government, and remember the Josh Shapiro connection. It's all very, very shady. And it doesn't feel good to know that that's happening. Okay, let's move on to another story. Ashley Tisdale. We've been talking about the Ashley Tisdale story for a while. I'm done with it. I feel done. I've already decided that I don't like Ashley Tisdale, Hillary Duff, or any of them. Just kidding. But now they're saying that they're going to make this into a movie. And I'm thinking to myself, does Hollywood not have any new ideas? Apparently, Hollywood is starting to say, hey, so many people are interested in this idea of a toxic mom group and getting left out by your mom friends. What just happened? My other computer made a sound. Let's make a movie. Let's make a movie out of this. Now, I will be shocked if Ashley Tisdale doesn't try.
That's fun. Are you thinking about creating a visual movie scene, writing a movie script about
Did you guys hear that?
or something else entirely?
No.
Got it. Catch you later, Dana.
Did you guys hear that? That was crazy. My Roku just talked to me. My freaking Roku. What did I say? What is a Roku called? Ghosts. That was crazy. Catch you later, Dana. So if Ashley Tisdale doesn't go clawing for that movie role, and trust me, I know a lot of people in Ashley's family, okay, personally. They are fighting doors down to get rights to that movie. Now, it's based on her Cut article, so I'm sure the only people that are talking about making it a movie is probably Ashley. I imagine that Ashley's probably like, look, I've gotten so many clicks from this. I've gotten so many DMs, like so many people are interested in this. I wrote the article. Let's sell this. Ashley's a producer too. Her mom is a producer. Like they've all worked on different projects. I guarantee you she is standing there right now and trying to like make this a movie. And Hillary Duff is not going to be part of it. None of them are going to be part of it. But I'm like, does Hollywood not have any new ideas? Every day, all I see is that Hollywood is taking this great book and making it into a movie. Hollywood's taking this story and making it into a movie. Like, what is Hollywood doing that they can't come up with their own ideas? But some would say that this whole thing was created just for this toxic mom group. And I would say, no. I think they said people are interested. We gotta jump on this. Another interesting story for all of you guys. So many messages yesterday asking me if Teddi Mellencamp is okay. Teddi Mellencamp was talked about in her dad. So John Mellencamp, Teddi Mellencamp's dad, is doing the interview rounds, right? So I guess he was on Joe Rogan. Either it aired yesterday or the day before. And then he was on the Today Show, I think, this morning. And he keeps talking about Teddi. And I think that's probably because they keep asking him about Teddi. But today on the Today Show, he said, I want Teddi to relocate back home amid her cancer battle to Indiana, but she won't do it. I'm trying to talk her into it. And then he also went on to issue a worrying update on Teddi's health while chatting with Al Roker, Dylan Dreyer, and Craig Melvin. He says, you can't say you're cancer free with the type of cancer she's got for 3 years. Now, meanwhile, on Joe Rogan, he also called Teddi as being really sick. He said she's really sick and she's really struggling. And I got so many messages from people that are like, I'm worried. I thought she was doing better, but she hasn't been on her show that much. So Teddi is, as far as I know, from my experience and people that I know, she's doing much better. She's had a really, really rough go with the immunotherapy. It doesn't mean that cancer is back, but that immunotherapy is really, really, really tough on your body. And it's made her have to kind of like slow everything down. So she hasn't been on Two Teas in a Pod for a good amount of time. Like, I want to say that's her podcast. I want to say she hasn't been on for maybe a month or so, which people are like, what does this mean? Like, clearly she's not doing well if she's not on the show. But she came back. She came back to the show yesterday. She did a little like, well, she did a pod talking about Real Houses of Beverly Hills, and this is how she looks. This is her and Tamra, of course.
More about this, some inside information, but I don't think Kyle's believing Dorit.
I don't think anybody wants to hear somebody bashing their ex. Nothing screams vortex like, positive energy, like talking about Dorit and PK.
Such a positive couple.
We can talk about Real Houses of Beverly Hills as well. So is she doing the same as she was before she was diagnosed with cancer? Absolutely not. This is tragically difficult on your body. It's so hard on your body, and I'm sure it slows her down in many, many ways. And she probably does have some days where she's incredibly, incredibly sick. But I think that those clickbait articles yesterday that came out about John Mellencamp talking about her, they pulled that one line and people really thought she was on her deathbed or something awful, and she's not. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. And that is also just from my personal connection to her. I know that. So everyone can take a deep breath, but still pray for her because she's fighting her ass off. She just said that she is starting to feel a little bit better on her podcast. So, she has a lot of PTSD. It's a lot. Okay. I don't think you guys care enough to talk about Janet from the Valley. I think that's kind of silly, but Janet from Valley is talking about a sickness she had. Okay, who cares? Let's just end today with just like a couple of minutes on Real Houses of Beverly Hills. You guys, we have a issue. I watched it. I watched the entire episode of Real Houses of Beverly Hills last night. I'm finding it so boring. What are we watching? What's happening? Why? Like, this show has gone so downhill in terms of interest, in terms of excitement. Now, of course, we're only episode 4 or 5, but by episode 5 of like a, 15 episode season or however many episodes, like we should have good shit to talk about here. And I find it to be just a lot of like, it's a lot of produced fights. It's a lot of Kyle Richards doing producing in the back with her eyebrows. And it's a lot of the same like meltdowns from Sutton. And they're really not giving us anything. It's such background TV. It's so not appointment TV. It's so boring. I am hoping that it gets better. I only want to watch Rachel Zoe, which is pretty bad for a show because Rachel Zoe is in it, just a couple minutes here and there. But I realize like she's the only one that comes off as interesting or fresh compared to these other women. Like no one is exciting. Now, Amanda is coming in trying so desperately hard to pretend that she's busy, to pretend that she's successful, to pretend that she works hard. If I ever meet a woman like that, I know those people so much. Here in LA, you meet them all the time. What do you do? Oh, I do this. I do that. I do this. I have that. I am this. I am that. Anytime I meet someone that builds themselves up so much and so obviously and talks about how much money they make and what they're doing constantly and like specifically taking business calls in a little road, in a little car trip, in between two housewives, like I don't want to be friends with that. I don't want to be friends with that. I don't want to be hanging out with that. I love a queen who says nothing about what they do. And if they're asked about what they do, they minimize it. And when I say minimize, I'm not saying because, like you shouldn't be proud of yourself. I'm just saying no one really cares. When people say, what do you do? I don't know how much people care about the ins and outs and how much money you make and how many clients you have. And is your website new? People just want to be nice. What do you do? It's so annoying. It's so try hard energy. And then there's also a scene where they decide to cook for themselves. And I was so confused by the scene. Number one, do any of these women really cook? I'm sure some of them can cook. It looks like Kathy Hilton can cook. I bet Kyle Richards can cook. She just comes off as someone that could. I don't think Erica Jane can cook. I don't think Dorit can cook. I could be wrong there. Because I have a feeling that maybe she grew up in a home that was cooking a lot, but I don't know. I don't think a lot of these women are like phenomenal cooks. And yet on a vacation, the Real Houses of Beverly Hills ladies decide like, let's do a cook for ourselves night, but no one is dressed appropriately. If you're going to tell me that we're staying in tonight and we're just cooking chicken and pasta or whatever in the living room, in the kitchen, fine, put on a little makeup, but dress appropriately. Throw on some jeans, sweats, even pajamas. There's nothing better than a Saturday night staying home with your girlfriends and cooking in the kitchen, but you won't see me in a ball gown. So they're all dressed to the nines. And Sutton is so late to this dinner where she's cooking the chicken that they sit down and eat dinner at 12:48 a.m. Was that fake or was that true? Because if you get me cooking dinner at 10 o'clock, I'm not having dinner. The only reason that I'd ever eat at 12:48 a.m. anything is if I have been drinking all night long and I can't focus when I get home and I'm like falling into the house and then I see a grilled cheese. I'm not having a full meal at 12:48 on just a normal night. If you pay me, I will say, I'm so sorry. My sleep is more important than this. You're going to eat a whole meal at 12:48 a.m. and then just go to sleep? What's happening? What was this? So Amanda's like, I'm annoyed with Sutton. She said she would be out here on time and start cooking dinner. So would I be? Am I the only person? I would be too. I would be like, what are you doing? Who eats at 12:48 a.m.? The next day, they decide to go shopping or whatever, and that was fine. Like, who cares? But they end up at the airport for dinner. I thought they were at an Elephant Bar. If you guys know Elephant Bar, I used to live in Santa Barbara. I used to go to college at UCSB, and there was an Elephant Bar next to the Santa Barbara airport. And you could sit at the Elephant Bar, at the bar, and watch planes. I think so. I mean, I could have just made this up, but I feel like I'm right. That's what I did in college. I was so confused by this night. Sutton thought that was going to be fun, and the women were not having it. No one was having it. Kyle Richards is a shit stirrer. She doesn't want to get herself involved in any drama, but she wants everyone to fight. And it was a bummer of an episode. By the time that they had the credits come up, I'm like, really? Nothing is happening on this show. It's bad. It's bad. It's really not doing it. We'll see. And that's it, you guys. The Traitors was on last night, but I'm not going to tell you what happened. The 2 episodes, so watch The Traitors. We can talk about it more next week if you want. But it's too much TV in one night that not everyone can watch. That's it, you guys. That's what she said. And I will see you guys on Monday. Oh no, Monday is a holiday, and my kids don't have school, so I'm not sure if I'll be here on Monday. I'll let you know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for liking this episode. Leave a comment if you're watching the replay. I love to hear from you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.